Go live, it says. Click here, it says. Awesome. What in the world is this reply? I'm turning my phone off and I get distracted, but that's all right. Welcome to Vlog Thursday. And fancy. I got a wireless charger on my desk. I got some new things to review, including, I talked about it last Vlog Thursday, but my Pixel phone. And I got all the wireless charging things for it, which is pretty cool. I really like the way it works. Blah, blah, blah. I'll do a review of it. So let's see. What do we got here? Active Directory is my favorite product. I use it for integration with all my services, playing with free IPA as well as deployment for only web app users, management as well. Yeah, we're going to talk a little bit of Active Directory and my aggravation. Not aggravation. It's just one of those things we're going to talk about. So free IPA, I'll pull this up because something else we can probably chew on a bit. Nope. Tom doesn't hate Windows. Tom just doesn't use Windows that much. It's hate is a strong word. I don't hate a lot of things, but I don't use Windows myself. But I make a lot of money on Windows. Matter of fact, I've jokingly said many times, Outlook helps pay for so much of my lifestyle. That's just a simple and factual statement. Outlook helps pay for my life because it breaks all the time and people love it. So let's see what else we have here. All right, lots of people here. Raz DC, I'm looking them all up because we're going to talk about whatever. Cool, we have yet another contender enters the ring as an Active Directory controller. The Linux drop-in replacement for Active Directory. So let's start with InfoWorld here. Let's just get this right off the rip here. Samba for review, no substitute for Active Directory. And yeah, feel free to call me out on this. This is from 5 years ago, January of 23rd of 2013. And here's the thing. It has long been the thing people want to do is, woohoo, congratulations, Grayson, on passing Security Plus with a good score. I think that's a good score. Honestly, don't know. I don't want to take the exam. So congratulations, though, Grayson, on passing that. That's awesome. No, I didn't forget the on-screen chat. I haven't figured out a way to do it. So if someone wants to give instructions on how to do the on-screen chat, the only ways I found to do the on-screen chat, so I'm going to address this because this comes up almost every live stream, is through Streamlabs has an option. I have to give permission for Streamlabs to read and write to my entire YouTube channel, including the ability for them to manipulate videos. I decided no. I decided not to do that. Any documentation I found other than that for the chat, I got nothing. So I don't know how to get the chat overlay onto the screen. The closest I can come, and I don't know if this is going to be helpful or not to people, is I can do pop out chat and drag it like over here, but I don't think this is useful in any way because it just, like, I guess I could put this here so people can see it. But now we'll do this and then we'll shrink my head and move it up here to the corner. Is this helpful for chat? There is a YouTube chat API. The problem is, if someone could point me to the program that can properly implement it, that would be great. Everything I've tried breaks. The only thing that works is Streamlabs, but I don't want to give Streamlabs full read-write access to my YouTube channel. Seems a little bit risky because what happens is if something happens to Streamlabs, they have full read-write access to my YouTube channel and can make a disaster for me, which would be a pain. So you can create a web page and put the chat link in there. Tried that. The formatting is terrible on it. So if someone has a write-up, there's a guy who did a write-up from 4 years ago and none of the CSS works anymore because they completely changed the API. So if someone feels like they want to write an API or write an updated version, and the reason no one's really doing it is because Streamlabs has a full integration. You just have to grant them access to your YouTube channel to do it. So figure that out. So, yeah. So what else do we have here? Yeah, FreeIP has its own schema, blah, blah, blah. Yep. This is the chat link. I mean, and I can do this too because this is Linux, always on top. There we go. I'll leave it here. Maybe this will make people happy and it's good enough. I don't know why people want to see it so bad. It gets requested all the time. It gets emailed to me. Everyone wants to see the chat screen. I guess it's because people get used to Twitch. I don't know. So, hey, whatever. I'll leave it right here, and we'll see if this satisfies the people looking for it. Anyways, yes, this is an old article from 5 years ago about Samba, open source alternative to Microsoft Domain Controller, a good start, but not ready for prime time. And I kind of feel the same way. And someone did reach out to me today because of, let me find it right here. Let's actually, now I got to size this over a little bit too. There we go. And we'll drag this over here. All right. But one of the challenges is, and this is one of them right here. So they contacted me because it sounds like, I only have this post to go on. I haven't really dug down into it. But it sounds like potentially they may be removing the Active Directory as a server, not Active Directory functionality, but Active Directory as a head end out of FreeNAS. I'm not that concerned about it. And one of the challenges we've had is we've seen problems people have had integrating Windows boxes or things that have special dependencies in Active Directory and then tying them to something that's not a genuine Active Directory server. So it's just one of those things. Like Windows makes Active Directory and it integrates great with Windows. All these third-party things are always trouble. So we just don't support it. I mean, if you want to play with it, have fun, but people call us for support on it. And that's where some of the problems come in because I can't even give you a predictable support because someone always calls, I have a Zential server or a FreeNAS server and my application's requiring some type of object in Active Directory that's not working properly, blah, 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 troubleshoot. I don't know if I can get it to work. All I can do is bill you for my guessing time. And someone, I seen this as another one, someone had mentioned at the beginning, MS compatible Active Directory domain controller. And I think at any of these, you're no more than one update of Windows away from it all falling apart because Microsoft can go, we don't like this third-party Active Directory people acting as a head end, so we're going to break it with a Windows update. And then the support cycle starts over again. This is just why it's not that I hate it. I just don't like trying to build third-party. The two ways we do it, the way we recommend it is either A, you put a Windows server in. That's just simple as that. So what we will support and condone is putting a Windows server in, and we just don't have problems outside of any normal Windows problems you have with it. Second thing we're doing now, we're getting more and more clients asking for Azure. Well, it's just evolution of they don't need an on-prem server anymore, and Azure AD. And if you're not familiar with Azure AD, here's pricing for it, but Azure AD is Microsoft's cloud-hosted Azure Active Directory, your universal platform that manages and secures all your identities. So you tie everything together through Azure AD and Azure AD Workplace, blah, blah, blah. So it's the same thing. It's just hosted in the cloud with actually more levels of integration because you can integrate a lot of third-party things in it. There's the pricing for it. Yes, it's not free, and that's why everyone wants them, because it does add up with $6 per user per month versus, because it's the really basic versions included with Office 365, and then here. Now, there are other authentication methods that you can use. There's other ways you can authenticate things. You can use things like FreeIPA, FreeRadius, LDAP. There's other methodologies of authentication, and it may work. And for us, we're not using SSO really for what we do. We keep everything very compartmentalized. But if you are using SSO, you can use Google Apps, G Suite, the business one. And one of my friends, his company runs all their application on the Google G Suite version of SSO, which ties into everything from their Slack to their Slack and all the other tooling they use. I can't remember all the tools that they primarily use in their company, but they've got a massive suite of tools. HubSpot was the other one too. Everything just runs off of a single sign-on with your Google. there's other ways to do it. So it's not like I'm saying you have to all go Microsoft. What I'm saying is people ask me all the time, and I just don't understand why I don't want to try to build constant alternatives. And it may work for just basic file permissions. Like I'm going to say I've used this, and we just did some troubleshooting for a client with Zentel. They had a Samba permission problems, and they were broke and blah, 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 and we fixed them. But it was also some Windows 10 issues they had. That Windows 10, after the latest version, had some minor problem. I can't remember what it was. It had to do with the fact that they were using the roaming profiles, and it had some problems with that. And it's only a matter of time before Microsoft has another update that breaks something else that you may rely on. For any of this advanced stuff, and especially companies that are using a full AD for, I'll use an example. Some of my clients that use AD for it's part of their enterprise system. So you have enterprise ERP programs that manage the company, for example, and they tie into the Active Directory server to understand the permissions that the user has. Some of those objects may be hard to recreate and work within a Samba environment trying to emulate Active Directory. So we never really recommend it. So yeah, domain controller functionality belongs in a jail, not base OS. That's the whole thing. And I don't know how does Zentel support GPO? I doubt it. Let's look real quick. So, matter of fact, I'm going to show you guys what I do when people email me questions all the time. I do this in a forum too. I copy and paste what you typed into the forum and go right here. GPO. All process complete. Windows host will appear under the computers. Will apply configured GPOs. Yeah, but it doesn't. So it looks like it can store some of the GPO. I don't know. Less than clear. So I don't know. It's probably not going to support the same way as a Microsoft server is. So hopefully that helps clear that part up a little bit. I mean, it's not that I have any hate for Active Directory at all. So it's just one of those things. If you want compatibility and support, and that's part of our thing, we build relationships with clients, and then people call us for support, because if we stand something up, we have to stand behind it. If we're the ones that stood it up in the first place, we should be able to support it over time. Not, hey, Windows updated, and we loaded Windows updates, and now the whole thing that you set up in Linux doesn't work anymore. I was among those who spent long before 2013 standing up Linux servers for file management without having Windows. It was always a goal, and it always fell short of. It was like they're chasing features. I wouldn't put it in an enterprise. If you want to run it at your home, go ahead. And in your house, are you likely to use an ERP program that uses some type of GPIO policies and uses identity management with objects inside of Active Directory? No, not likely at all. So it's probably going to be one of those, hey, awesome. So it's a cool thing, but it's not. I don't know. I don't have anything against these. Everyone wants me to review this server. It's back to I don't really have a use case for that, because it's cool. I don't think it's a terrible product at all. I've heard a lot of good things about it, but yeah. Don't they have a community version too? Get offers. It says free trial, but I've heard people tell me it's free. I've never really looked. Resources, get offer, free trial. Yeah, I don't see the free version. Maybe they still have it. Maybe you have to hunt for it. Or you know what? Let's try this. Because some of the companies do it this way. If you go to .org. There we go. Development edition. Cool. So you can get, they just call it development edition. That's the free support version. But Like I said, I think I've worked on 2 of these now that had some issues, and we were able to sort out the issues they were having because the people that were managing it came from a Windows background. They wanted to use this instead because they didn't want to pay all the Windows license fees, but they had some Samba problems, and they didn't understand how to get into the back end and fix it very well, so then they had us doing the repairs on it. It was a cool product, though. It's like I said, it's I don't have hate for all this stuff. It's just I just don't like trying to support it because it's always a headache of support, and I can't support it for free. And people get upset with our rates, going, "How many hours are it going to take to support this?" I'm like, you have a really random problem created by stacking things together that may or may not line up with each other very well. Let's see what else we got. Microsoft licensing goes for. Yeah. Yeah, Zentel works, but it's yes. You know what? That's probably a good point there, Carlos. That Zentel does work, but it's the equivalent of the old Microsoft Small Business Server. It really does feel like that. But I don't think Microsoft Business Server was absolutely terrible. Like, it worked really well for some people in certain use cases, and especially the small businesses. We sold forever ago lots of that SBS server because it was a good fit for all these companies with 5 people in the office back when they needed it. Now those same five people offices are completely Office 365, no on-prem server, Azure AD management, and life has changed dramatically for them. It's just they don't have the same needs like they used to. Oh, yeah. Volume service license agreements. Yeah, those were fun. So that's a whole different mess. So like I said, we kind of been pushing people, and I just emailed another person today, and this is what I sent them. I'm like, look, just look at Azure AD, look at this, because they're having trouble with that. And not to mention, if you want some of the other integrations that come with some third-party stuff, it may not support it. Like, they wanted some special dual authentication stuff, and I'm like, I bet it doesn't work with third-party servers. Not as well as it's going to work with a Microsoft one. So there's that. I have a video that I can't really upload until I'm done with until they get theirs uploaded. They take, it takes other places longer to me. So Tradecraft Tuesday. This is and this will be over on Huntress Labs. I'm gonna double check. I don't think they have it uploaded yet. They did. Awesome. Whoops. Derp. But let's talk about why Tom was down at Huntress Labs. Was there other questions, AD? I don't know if there's anything more to talk about it. Let's see here. Oh, the UI, not the product. Well, the product feels like SBS server because it's kind of this all-encompassing web panel that just manages everything. So, yeah, I don't know. Anyways, back over to why I was hanging out with this guy. So that's Kyle, CEO of Huntress Labs, and I just went down there and did some hanging out and having some fun, talking cybersecurity and all that fun stuff. It was a good trip because part of it was sitting down and we table talked through a bunch of ideas we had related to how to think like an attacker. And what does that mean? Well, we walked through the whole process, and there's once the video goes up, I'll be tweeting it out and everything else, and it's going to be on the Huntress channel. And I have another video on my channel that will also talk about it and link back to it. But what this is us really trying to break down how the attackers work, how they target people, how they get some of the information together, reconnaissance. Because there was a misconception that we just kept hearing repeated over and over that we didn't like, was they keep thinking, especially with these, and I think I tweeted one out. Let me pull up my Twitter real quick. I tweeted just another one of these the other day. It happened again. Where'd it go? Oh, this tweet's related to our discovery. And we'll talk about that. We'll get to that in a second because I've got more to say about that. But yeah, well, let's just put MSP ransomware attack. Oh, look, it auto-completes. So MSPs are being attacked just absolutely and constantly. And, you know, there's tons of these on all the attacks. Why are they being attacked? Well, the misconception is that they're being attacked first by looking up MSPs, like doing a Google search. Let's find an MSP, when that's the hardest way to do it. So it just seems to be statistically unlikely to be the way it's being done. It's also the other way that makes more sense. And let me explain. So let's take, oh, look, I like that their name is systemconfidence.com. They were just named in Krebs Security, and let's go over here on Krebs. Colorado IT provider affects 100 dental offices, right? So this company gets seized, and in turn, they have 100 plus dental offices. That's their focus. They're an MSP for dental offices. And then the dental offices then get seized because that's a scalable attack. But where the assumption starts is, well, they're targeting MSPs. But how do they build targets? And this is the way you think when you're like a hacker, when you're thinking in lists, you're thinking in methodology. You're like, how do I find these people? Well, Shodan. And we're going to go here to Shodan. And if you start not by looking for the attackers in terms of what services they in or targeting a dental company, we can do things like this instead. Port 8040. And we look for their tools. And then we can start finding all the tools that run the services. So we start finding these, or digging around in here. Let's see, we need one that says Screen Connect in it. About 26,000 of these. Oh, look, Screen Connect right there. So this is what we're looking for is, I think we can actually do it this way and type server Screen Connect. Let's see if that works. How many do we find if we just do this? There we go. This directly finds me server Screen Connect. So this is looking for like an attacker. So I've got 8,419 Screen Connect sessions. Then I can start digging around and finding Screen Connect sessions that are running old versions. Why would I look for old versions? Companies that don't update their software probably have other flaws. So you can start picking on them this way, find some old version, find another piece of it, and you can see... yeah, Xavier's going, I see what you're doing. Yeah, you kind of get it. But there's so much on there, it's just crazy. Now, while you're on here, Xavier, check out what Kyle tweeted. So we had found this when we were trying to do our discovery work. And we were picking targets, right? Well, you know, potential, walking through, and we had to anonymize and filter all the data and everything else for the presentation. We dove down deep, right? We went to the point of getting the cell phone number without completely passive intelligence, no active, which means we completely passively just Googled up this stuff. But incidentally, we fell across this. And so before we did it, Kyle tweeted this. He's like, diving into attacker thought process, better security environment. During the external auditing process, we stumbled on the internet facing ICS gear in the process. Yes, we accidentally ran across... you could interact with this, and we were just dumbfounded. This actually caused our work to stop, and we're like, whoa, we found an entire industrial control system actively online that you could interact with. By the way, we found this with VNC. So if that doesn't scare you enough, that someone has some type of large control system public facing with VNC online without authentication. So it's just crazy. Hey, thank you, William Daughtery. Much appreciated. Yeah, one e-stop, please. Oh, I know. This thing, there's so much mess. You know what, Xavier? I'm going to send you let me find it. I'm gonna have to send this person. I don't know if I should share this publicly because God, it's just awesome, but it's also scary. Where is it at? I'm gonna send you something really fun, Xavier. So it's gonna be interesting. You probably already know it, but it's a way to find the open unauthenticated VNCs that are completely interactive. There's a string command you can use for it, and I'm just like, wow. So let me find it. I'm gonna drop it in a private message to you, Xavier. You'll get it later from me. It's just crazy. So, when you rebuild a client PC, do you always reuse a sticker license number so it's their PC, or do you use an MSP? Do you have any license tricks for Windows? We have no license tricks. We especially adhere to license standards, so there's no trickery done, so to speak. That's whatever license they have. If it's valid to use, we will continue to use it. So, God, there's so many stupid things. I'm going to get off Twitter or I'll get distracted again. But when you look at some of these places, like right here, I like this, that they have latest articles. FBI, let's see what this says. Aging app to be there. So this is the company that Krebs reported on. This ransomware Colorado IT company is this company here in Inglewood here. It's a shame. I mean, I don't think there's anything malicious that they did. It's just somehow they got popped. And the methodologies, and this is some of the stuff we talked about at Huntress too, we just kept going over it because they have a lot of insight into the intelligence community, into the market. And that being said, one of the problems is they end up with people keep thinking that there's more to this than there is. Like there's something more. I'm like, no. Every time, and we had this roundtable discussion over at Huntress. Like all the debriefs are the same. No two-factor authentication, old versions of tools, public-facing, lots of exploit stuff, blah 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 blah. And yeah, it's one of those. What are you gonna say? I mean, it's all a bunch of stupidity. It's not even the most clever attacks you've seen. Plus, I'm gonna run this on the screen because it's cool. While I look for something else. Oh, I found what I was looking for. Maybe I should just share it here. I'm gonna share it. I'll drop this out. This is gonna be fun. Someone's gonna. Let me drop it to Xavier real quick. People. XAV. There we go. I don't know. Let me see. Make sure there's nothing up. Because this can also get risky because there's stuff on there. But if you go to Shodan, yeah, cool. I can drag it over. You'll see why I have to drag this over carefully. So if you put in, I'm not going to make it too easy for you guys. Authentication disabled, RFB 003.008. And you can see what happens here. These are unauthenticated interactive, usually not necessarily, but probably interactive sessions that you can find of VNC. And it's just like, people ask how stuff gets hacked. It's almost crazy that it doesn't get hacked more often because there's so much of it out there. Like there's so much low-hanging fruit. So when people see all the attacks, there's a ton of companies that are secure and don't get attacked. It happen, plenty of it. But there's a lot that do. Why do they get attacked? Well, they got stuff just swinging in the breeze. I mean, unauthenticated VNC sessions, this is not by any means an exhaustive list on the internet. This is 7,360 available services to do this. And it's just kind of dumbfounding when you look at this and you're just like, there's this many machines that I can just that an attacker, not me, I'm not doing these things, can do this. And is there. If you want to see something really scary too, let me get this one pulled up. We deal with this, and we had to fix some clients because we tracked down the source of the leak when it came to this. We sourced, well, at least one of them that we know of it. one terrible salesperson. I don't know how many. We only found like 6 that we fixed. But one terrible salesperson, and this is only when they're on the default port. Some people do change them from ports. This, if you didn't know, this is the scanning system for medical, and it's public X-rays and stuff, and it's just like ah. And then what the guy was doing, and when we took it over, they were well, they were setting them up, but they weren't in use. They couldn't get them to work right, but the guy was assigning public IPs to X-ray machines without firewalls. I'm just like, what? Oh, yeah. Watch the jokes about salespeople. It's just crazy. It's just there's so much silliness out there. Yeah. Okay. Oh, I may send one more. I'm gonna send. I have a few of these. Xavier, you're gonna be really happy with one of them. If I can find this other one, you're gonna laugh. It's a. I can't find it. Root. Here. We're gonna find this one here. This is a great one. I'm going to do a whole video on Shodan soon. This is actually some of my research for Shodan. I didn't get the video done because I spent so much time researching. I kept having a whole lot of fun with this. So, this query. So, if you're not familiar, port 23 is telnet. Root means root privileges. So port :23 -login -password -name -session, right? So what do we have here? These are systems that have telnet open and logged in as root with sessions. Oh, and this Shodan makes it more fun because they also list all the potential CVEs that they found on here too. So it is just so crazy that there's this much open on the internet. Like, people ask, and this is by no means is Shodan the only way attackers are looking at things. They often run their own servers. They run their own sweeps for things. They're looking for all kinds of stuff. So it's definitely more out there than just this. This is just a piece, just a small piece of it that we're finding. It's so messy. It's just insane out there just how much crap is scattered all over the internet. And Shodan goes further too. Let's actually, in case you didn't know. Oops. Let me pull this up. You could do Shodan from the command line. I haven't tried Shodan. Oh, access denied? Why not? I don't have access to radar. Doesn't say why. I don't know, I'll figure it out. Maybe my account isn't privileged enough. Yeah, it's just such a mess. Hey, Crosstalk Solutions, what's up? Chris just got triple monitors. I seen him tweet that. You need premium to do the radar? Okay. Oh, in case you're wondering, this is a fun thing you can do. Let's go here. Copy. You can type Shodan. What is it? Honey score. I love that they added this. You can say, you can have a honey score to tell whether or not these are honeypots. Because sometimes you're like, this is too good to be true. There's no way that this is real. Like, this can't be someone that has this many ports open, this many things, blah, blah, blah. But you're wrong. And, you know, this is also Shodan host. And we'll just put that same IP address in there. And it dumps all the information about them. So it's pretty wild how this works. Like, you can just keep throwing stuff in here. And obviously, if you do it all from the command line, it's there. By the way, Shodan's pretty cost effective. So if you go over there, is it on their main one? Right here. Where's the pricing? Yeah, pricing. $59 a month for the basic plan to give you up to 1 million results a month, 5,000 IPs, network monitoring for 5,000 IPs, access to most filters, allow parsing through Revolve, basic access streaming, blah, blah, blah. So, yeah, I am doing a video on just Shodan. I was working on it this morning, and a series of things kept happening that made me not able to finish the video. So it's pretty wild to do that. So it's just one of those... it's on my to-do list to make the video. I haven't had any videos crank out this week because I've been so busy doing stuff. Matter of fact, even today, my stop time today is 4:44. So I can move on to, I have another event to go to tonight, kind of a businessy type event. So yeah, but Xavier, if you're still on and listening, I'm going to get you, we're going to have a good Dorking session talk about Shodan. I got a good list for you that I'll get all of it over to there, and then we're going to scan for some more. So my Shodan video is I'm going to make some fun with this. This is going to be great. So yeah. It's just dorking away with this thing, man. There's so many things you can do with Shodan. It's going to be exciting. I love Shodan goes on Black Friday special occasionally, so you can do that. So it's great. I want to get better at it. I just the basics I have with it though blow me away. Like it's a cool tool. So I also want to talk about how to use it as an MSP, how you can set up the scanning and scan things. We've done this and we've used it to scan clients because you can tell it to actively go out and check for things. So I'm going to be working on some of that as well. Sweet. Sent you a list on Keybase. Awesome. Thank you, Xavier. So we'll get together on this and have some fun. And by the way, Xavier, we need to have, Xavier did an amazing talk that I wish I could link to it, but he's working on it. He's been busy doing, hacking stuff and pen testing stuff and cleaning up things for clients. But he's got a talk he did at B-Sides on fileless malware, and me and Xavier probably will do a video when he's got some free time on this topic. So it's going to be a lot of fun. He did did a deep dive to see how it works, and swinging all the way back to Huntress, we discussed fileless malware and how that works as well. So it's kind of pretty cool. A pfSense rule to ignore Shodan IP block. That's the thing. Shodan's IP block is massive and all over the place and distributed. So good luck with that. You're going to have a hard time. You're going to have a hard time doing that. So is it just me and you, Xavier? Reach out to me tonight or something after an event. I'll reach out to you, Xavier, and we'll talk about how we'll do it tomorrow, how we want to handle it, and go from there. So cool. So that's all that. But we also, and I'm going to see, because I got to sit down, not just with Kyle, but their head of threat ops over at Huntress. That was a lot of fun. I got to go in, look at how the product worked. We zeroed in on my clients to filter out any personal information and show how the back end functions. And it's really cool. And I kind of want to do a video with their permission. I got to talk to them about how they do it, because it's really all the back end of how it works, and they're very open about it, and it's going to be kind of a cool dive into the technology, because it's basically like a NOC center. And what a NOC center does, so your network operations center, how they watch IPs and they're watching things, or how they build Suricata, they're doing the same thing for applications, and they're doing it at scale. It's really amazing to sit down and see how that works. So it's going to be really fun dive, and I'm going to see if I can get their threat ops guy to sit down and do a video with me, kind of going over stuff and just talking about it. It's not going to be as much show and tell, but methodologies and how they look at things. So that's where that dive's going to go into. That's kind of the final wrap up on some of that, but definitely really cool. It was a great time. I spent 2 days there, just other than the video, we pretty much just worked on a bunch of table talking ideas, product ideas, things we're working on, and you know, what gets missed by firewalls, what gets missed in startups, et cetera, et cetera. So is it possible to get a pfSense device like the MikroTik? I'll search that real quick. They already have, so let me copy. What is this? This is a cloud router? I don't know the MikroTik that much. Cloud switch is a rack manageable switch with layer 3 features. This is a switch. pfSense doesn't make switches, so I don't understand the question. Clients are their employees trying to tweak things to lock it down. Yeah. Yeah, 16 SFP plus ports. It's a switch, not a router. pfSense makes routers. So you want a pfSense device? Yeah, dude, buy one. They have them on their website. So go to Netgate, go to appliances, get one. They have more than one model with SFP. I don't understand what you're asking. Right there. Oh, not that one.
Black Thursday?
Is that, yeah?
Cards?
Yeah.
We're just gonna go get some stuff. I want everything
Yeah, no.
in order
sure.
for this.
That's a great
And
idea.
I need fuel anyway, so.
Yep. Oh,
Cute.
Oh, we got a BGS card too.
Oh, cool. You went and got it, or?
Was that?
You went and got it, or?
Guessed it.
I'd love to try that.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's no ID on it.
Cool. We don't check anyway.
They don't check. Anyways, back to this. You know, employing things. They have models with SFP plus on them. You can also build one if you don't want theirs. So hopefully that helps or makes sense. Cybertruck's going to be strange for sure. You want a pfSense device with 16 ports? I don't know why you'd want that, but you could build it. You could build a pfSense with 16 ports. Netgate does not sell a 16 SFP plus port, but this is something you could build. Yeah, I don't know why you'd want that many on one thing, but you could build it. And Shodan finds old Tesla. Yeah. Let's see. All right. Switches are cheap. Add 16 port to your pfSense LAN output. I'm trying to follow all this. Yeah, if you're looking for something that's managed, you can get a Edge. So if you need something that has layer 3 functionality, I should type Edge switch. The Edge switch has layer 3 functionality, so you can get one of their these if you wanted. Which one is it that has that? They have one that has a bunch of SFPs on it. Is it this one? I'm not. Nope, that's not it. That's the Edge Router Pro. Maybe they don't have one. Maybe I'm wrong and they don't have it. Oh, all models. I thought they had one that had a bunch of SFPs. There we go. Their website's going slow. There we go. This one. 10G 16 port aggregation switch. So is that what you're looking for? It has 16 SFPs and 4 10 gig ports over here. So maybe that would be what you're looking for, but I mean, like I said, this is an edge switch 16 port. So anyways. All right. So hopefully that makes sense. Someone did ask about my Tesla though. That's going well. I don't think I have do I have anything new to say about the Tesla? I will drag this over in a second. Nope, nothing new about the Tesla. Although, I gotta admit, I like this. This is an idea. So there is that. I like that for Tesla ideas. Like I see that and I was like, okay, that's great. I was like, I need to get that printed. Like maybe if there's just a floor mat that has that, that'd be cool. Is there anything private in this? These couple messages? Nope. Nope. I can drag this over. My son making a face. New server. This is something we're working on right now for a client. This is a new Dell with all these 2 TB SATA SSDs in it. So that's going to be a lot of fun. Let's see. What do I use for monitoring? The same thing I always do every time people ask. I Zabbix my pfSense box if you want to monitor it. Zabbix monitors pfSense and it works really well. Do I see Tesla people putting power generators? Yeah, people do things like that. It's weird. This is not a cheap server. They needed really high IOPS. So I just use pfSense. If you want to use OpenSense, feel free, but I don't really have a use case for that. So this system L has these 2 TB ones in there, and this thing is fast. I'm gonna hopefully, if I got some time, review the server tomorrow and talk a little bit about it. It's all configured for a client and how we set these up, so that'll be something we talk about. That's gonna be pretty cool. Let's see. Yeah, if 1 gig's bottleneck between VLANs, then one of 2 options is you get a layer 3 switch, and that's why you have layer 3 switches like the edge switch. So this server is running XCP-NG. I don't remember all the specs on it yet. I'll get the specs before I do the video because that seems like an important piece of information that everyone's going to ask me about. But it is a nice Dell server. It's only going to run a couple things virtualized on it for a client, but it's definitely pretty awesome. Yes, Zabbix agent for it's a plugin. There's a Zabbix plugin for pfSense, so you can just drop it in there. Hopefully that makes sense. But yeah, it's nice being able to load XCP-NG. We're going to get everything they have is on hardware that's older. We're going to virtualize and consolidate everything into this. And then we take another server and then we take the snapshots and roll them over there so we can do easy full backup, full restore, blah, 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 and have versioning of full operating systems. It's so much nicer on there. So yeah, pfSense, maybe I should do a video on it because then I can just drop a link in a video, but pfSense on Zabbix works great. So it's not hard to set up. But once you've gone through the Zabbix setup, I should say, Zabbix still can be, I don't think it's too hard to set up. I have a video on it, but it works really well. And then after that, you just drop in all your pfSense boxes to it. You make sure you set them up all encrypted, so at least all the data you're sending is encrypted. It's not two-way interactive, though. It does not push data back to pfSense. It's just pfSense beaconing data out. Also, if you're using Zabbix for more infrastructure monitoring, the Zabbix plugin within pfSense will work as a Zabbix aggregator of data. So you can have a pfSense box and have series of Zabbix things, and it can proxy all those connections back to your Zabbix box. So it's definitely pretty cool. I tried Libre NMS. I didn't think it was as full featured as Zabbix. So, and that's why I went with Zabbix versus Libre NMS. Zabbix, because Zabbix has the features like SNMP, like Libre NMS does, and on top of that, the Zabbix agents that you can load, you can just do more. So I felt like it was a better system. You want to connect a remote SMTP server to what? I don't understand that as a question. Zabbix is like Wireshark? No, Zabbix is a monitoring platform. Watch my Zabbix videos to figure out. I do have videos on Zabbix. So, please describe how you prevent SSDs from wearing out. Synology has RAP1 for SSDs. Keep all SSDs from failing one at a time. They just don't wear out like people think they do. That's the first rule. They don't. If you find the long-term running exhaustive SSD test, you'll find that SSDs are way, way, way more durable than people originally claimed they were. And the SSDs themselves, because the kernel has trim support in it, and the SSDs themselves have wear leveling built in. These are enterprise SSDs with wear leveling. So it's not, yeah. Yeah, keep them unplugged. They'll stay good forever. Exactly. So, Univention corporate server. That's the other one that has all kinds of features like that. NetData. NetData is cool. And my server's off. I have NetData installed on one of my XCP&G servers. I've done videos on NetData. NetData is awesome. Sister site? No, this isn't it. Oh, I guess they did just update their site. So cool. Their website looks nice. It didn't look as nice. Let's go to the live demo. Where's the live demo? There we go. Close all that. Yeah, NetData is great. If you haven't played with it, I've got a whole video on how to set this up. It's going to look a little dated because they updated it and it looks nicer now. This is the newest version. But the team over at XCP&G worked with the team over at NetData to develop a new version of the software. Well, this updates the software plugins that made it Zen aware, which is really cool. So now it actually supports Zen server as well. Hey, thank you, Martin. Thank you for the donation. Is Zabbix hosted locally? Yes, we host Zabbix locally because we have a stack to host it in. And it's kind of funny. It kind of depends. Do you want... someone wants to say happy birthday. Happy birthday to your brother in... welcome? I can't say that. I'm sorry. I'm not good with pronouncing things. Anyways, we choose to host our equipment internally. And there's a back and forth of when you should or shouldn't have things hosted internally. One, if you're not good at maintaining infrastructure, absolutely don't do it yourself. There's like the first rule that probably makes the most sense. Like if you're not good at it, don't do it. Because that's a real issue. Some people are very bad at that particular thing. So that's if you the good and bad too, though. When you host it in the cloud, you don't have to worry about upgrade cycles. You don't have as much planning and downtime because the servers just kind of iteratively get better over time. Someone else is taking care of all that. You don't worry about RAID arrays and hard drive failures, and you end up with a very easy to predict bill, and you have the elasticness of being able to expand fast. And for example, Huntress, they have no on-prem servers. And it just makes more sense for them to host all their infrastructure because they were a fast-growing company. And if they scale, well, when they do land larger clients, they need to go, hey, we need to add this many more servers for data ingestion, log ingestion. That's just a easy switch in the cloud versus we got to go buy more servers. How many days until they're here? So yeah. So yeah, FreeNAS is dropping net data because of net data has a problem in BSD. The problem is specific to BSD, not Linux. So it's not a net data Linux problem. It's a net data BSD problem. So that's why they're dropping it. Oh, I didn't know NetData does Prometheus? Really? I didn't know that. NetData Prometheus. Cool. Huh. And if you're not familiar, this is the Metrics Insight, Power Metrics and Alerting with the leading open source monitoring solution. I'm not an expert at Prometheus. I have a friend that likes it. I've never used it. I've seen what he's done with it, and it's awesome. But it seems to be a little bit, difficult to set up, is what I would say. And it's been a while since I tried it. It just looked like there was a lot to it. I didn't even know there was a Windows version of Prometheus. That's news to me. Neat. It's been a while since I looked at it. My friend loves it. He's been using it for a while, but I'm partial to Zabbix. Make sure there's nothing here that's private. Make sure I'm on the right dashboard. Oh, that's interesting. Let me log into something real quick. Something just alerted me when I logged into that. Let's look at something real quick and I'll drag that over here. Oh, yeah, okay. That I can fix. Cool. All right, what are we gonna do here? Where is Zabbix? Here we go. So this is what the Zabbix dashboard looks like and how you can see the different notices from pfSense and stuff like that. CPU loads, blah, blah, blah. Matter of fact, if we break it down to the last 30 minutes, because it'll start to show our stream here. Well, actually, we'd have to go probably the last 3 hours. Can you tell when we started streaming right here? Because I'm on this network. So you can see where I started streaming. So, kind of cool. Like I said, Zabbix is pretty neat. It'll also graph these. I realized I was doing something this morning and I dumped a bunch of things in here that I needed to get rid of. I got to clear them. So I need to do that on the box. But I'm coming to the end here, folks. So I have to jump off of here as I have an event to go to. As always, go to forums.lawrencesystems.com where I check it once or twice a day. I respond to a lot of people in here, try to respond to a lot of questions and discuss things and videos and let people post topics. People who just randomly message me, you're not going to get emails back. FYI, maybe if I feel like replying, I just reply with the forums because people start it with, I have no money to spend. I love that. I love that in the title. I have no money. Can you help me design my entire lab? I'm like, that's a forum post, not an email. So, hey, thanks Crosstalk for joining in today. I haven't seen you on here in a while. I know Chris has been so busy. I did like the beer. Matter of fact, go watch Chris's video, and I'll bring this up real quick. Let me find Crosstalk real quick. Right. Oh, never mind. It's right here. I just watched this video. Watch his UniFi Flex video, and I was so happy to see. Where did it go? Yeah, one excellent comparison, Chris, for the Flex. Also, Excellent beer choice. I love that beer. I don't know why. So apparently Chris likes it too. So we have excellent choice of having the comparison too. So now I know exactly how big it is. It was funny. I had almost grabbed an empty bottle and showed that I was watching. I wasn't drinking that beer, but I had an empty one, and I was like, I'm not going to go all the way to the garage to get it. But I was gonna. I had to watch this on my TV. I was just kind of laughing. I'm like, oh, watching this with some of that. So, anyways, I'm going to jump off of here. Live streams, not love streams. Love stream, live stream, it's all the same. Thank you, Adam French, for throwing some money out of here. Let's see. Sorry to come back to this, but I use PFS packet filters among diff VLANs. The 1 gig ports becoming a bottleneck. I'm looking for a PFSense device with 8 SFP ports. Build it. PFSense doesn't sell any that I know of with 8 SFPs, so you'll have to build one. Or you get something with layer 3 functionality that will inter-route between those things, such as the edge switch. That is the solution for that. Hopefully that makes sense to you. Generally, if you have things that want to communicate at 10 gigabit, you don't put them on separate VLANs. So that's the thing. But you're going to have to build the 10 or 8 SFPs or even more than 2 SFPs on there. So I never use Pi-hole. I only use PF Blocker. Why would I want to run 2 devices? I don't think Pi-hole is a bad project, but I feel as though it's redundant. And someone will point out, but Pi-hole has better reports. Cool. I never look at them. So I don't know. Yeah. Edge switch. Well, do you need packet filtering or do you need inter-VLAN routing functionality? So I guess that's, yeah, all depends on what your needs are. But anyways, I'm jumping off on here. I've done enough, and that's about it. But your best bet, if you really want PFSense to handle it, is going to be buy some Intel SFP Plus cards and sticking them in a board all together and create all your rules and bridge them together the way you want. So that'll solve the bottleneck problem for you. Or stick things on the same VLAN. That'll solve it too. So yeah, anything's better than nothing. They're both good products. I have a video on Pi-hole and I have a video on PF Blocker. I don't have anything against Pi-hole. I think it's a great project. I didn't do a new video on Pi-hole because, it's better than when I did the video a while ago, but it's not so significant that I felt like doing another video on it. My video on it's quite popular. Matter of fact, how many views do I have on it? I know I got a lot of views on it. Let's pull up my Pi-hole video real quick. I keep saying I'm going to go, and I find one more thing. Pi-hole. Over 100,000 views. So in the video it's only from a year ago. It's still a solid video. There's nothing wrong with it. And then I did a video on explaining the difference between Pi-hole and PF Blocker, what one has and what the other one has. So, yeah. So they're both good products. I like them both. I always hate the assumption that because you use one product, you hate the other. That's always a confusing thing that people say. You like this, therefore you must hate that. So, like, no, if I don't use it, doesn't mean I hate it. I just may not use it. Except for Squid. Squid's a pain in the butt, but hey, whatever. Nope, I think that's it. Oh, yeah. Storm takes out Cloud Azure outage. That was funny, too. I wonder why that comes up when I search Pi-hole. That's weird. I like my graphic because it says Office 364. All right. Thanks. We want a PF 3.2 terabyte. Sure. I do have a video I'm working on. I do have, if you ever look, sometimes there's been some SFP cards on the table. That's what they're for, is me going to do a big video on setting up 10 gig cards inside of PFSense. It's on my to-do list because I was going to do, just for the hell of it, a transparent bridge with 10 gig cards because, well, the internet would like it. That's why I would do it. Because most of the client use cases we have for a really low bandwidth. Yeah, maybe one day. The problem with doing the Acme Let's Encrypt like on PFSense is I got to set up public IPs for all that to work it properly. So I have to figure out how I want to handle that. That's all. All right, I am out of here. Hey, look, the notice just went off that I'm supposed to be somewhere. So, all right, I'm going to go be somewhere. Later.